Good morning, and thank you for joining us today. Welcome to the overview of the New Achiever website. My name is Amanda Brown, and I will be going over the introduction to the site. One of the things that's going to change on the new site is our web address. So you can see at the top of my screen, the website address is going to be achiever.brainchild.com. You will not use www. for the new site. So if you type in achiever.brainchild.com, it will give you the Achiever portion of our Brainchild section. So to begin, you can see on the login screen that you'll have your username, and the new feature we have is the @ symbol and the space next to that. That is going to be your school name. So we'll create that for you. So you'll have your username, you'll enter the school name, and your password. We're going to be emailing the schools their administrator usernames and their school short names. Every school will have its unique short name, and the teachers, administrators, and students' short name for that school will be the same. So if your school is Elton Elementary, your short name should be Elton for all of the users in the school. So once you receive your username and password, you'll go ahead and log in. I'm going to go ahead and start with the student account for you today. So I log in with my student username and password. And as you can see, the student screen looks a little different, but it's very much like the previous Achiever that we used. So for the students, for them to use the new program, there shouldn't be any changes or anything that's going to confuse the student. You could see the language arts, math, and science icons and the homework assignments that are on their page. For a student to begin, all they need to do is just click on one of the subjects, and their learning plan will be right there on the screen for them to use. The scoring is the same. They'll strive to get the green check mark for the excellent performance, yellow proficient, and red if it's not completed or not proficient. So for a student to begin working on a particular standard, all they need to do is click on it. They will need to take the pretest, just like they always had to before. So it will be a pretest to assess their knowledge of that particular standard before they begin working. Then they can play the lesson. They can use the English or Spanish. They could do the study mode, and they could take the post test. So if anyone is familiar with our previous Achiever account, the system is just like it for the students. We've just made a few changes to the graphics, and the login screen will be a little different. Other than that, for the students to make the change into the program, they should have no problems at all. I will log in as a teacher with my username and password. And as you can see, the teacher screen is quite different. We have the reporting in the main section at the top. And this is going to provide you with your student password list, your student report, classroom report, assignment report, and support center. So if you have any questions, need any assistance, you will go there for support. So you could see, instead of having the yellow toolbar at the top of the screen, we have put the icons on the page right here for you to see all of your available options. So it's much easier for you to use and quick to get to what you need. Under management, we have enroll a student. So we'll go ahead and show you how to enroll a student. On the right-hand side of the screen, this is where you would go to enroll a student after you select the enroll a student icon. And you enter a student's first name, last name, and their login automatically appears as their first name, and so does their password. At this point, you have the option to make that change. You would like their login to be their first initial and last name, and leave their password as their first, or you could change the password to the last name. Whatever you want to do to make the change to what you would like to use for the students' usernames and passwords, you can type in that box. You could type in the student's email if you would like in order for easy contact information. Select the grade that the student is in, and it will list the available courses for you that's been purchased by the school. You can select the courses that you would like to give the student, and then scroll down, and you can enter the parent information by name, email, and phone number. for easy access to contact information. So you can contact the parents easily if you have that information listed here, but it's not a mandatory field. And you can select Save. You can quickly enroll your students this way. Now, a big feature that's changed with our system is once a student has been enrolled into the program by selecting the courses available at this point, the student is now ready to begin using the system. And I could show you, I just enrolled Chris French as my student. I log out of my teacher account and log in as the student I just enrolled, and select Login. The language arts, math, and science icons are right there for me to begin using. So I could click on the icon, and you can see I have the learning plan right here. So if anyone's familiar with our previous Achiever account, you knew that you had to create classes as a teacher and map students to your classes before you were able to have the students begin working on the program. At this point, we have this available for the students to begin working as soon as they're enrolled, as long as they've been given courses at the point of their enrollment. So like you could see, the student is ready to begin as soon as they've been enrolled without having to be mapped to a teacher or a class. Okay? So very simple for the students to begin. We've made it quick and easy for that to happen. Now back to the teacher page, we do have the import student option in the batch enrollment. Just like we used to have, you have the sample file, you select the grade and do a full import that way. If you would like to create classes, it's very simple to create your classes. You just select the course you would like to create in the period and select Save. And then you can go back to your main menu and map your students by selecting the Map Students icon. Now the purpose to creating your classes and mapping your students is in the ability to run reports. You can enroll your students without mapping them to a class, but you will not have any reporting for that student. So in order to get your classroom reports and student reports, you will need to map your students to your class. So like I mentioned, they can begin working without being mapped to a class. They just won't be on your reporting information. So we do highly recommend always mapping students to your classes for reporting purposes. So another new feature that we have, if you select student reports and the grade you would like to run the report on and the class, you have the option to now select Show All Students. This will show you all of the students that are enrolled in that class. And you can export this report to a PDF file, allowing you to print this report on separate pages. So when you export this report into PDF file, you then have the ability to print that PDF, and it prints each student's report on its own separate page. So I think for your parent-teacher conferences and your end of the school year where you're printing out all of your students' information, this is very quick and easy for you to get all of your students' reports by classroom instead of having to pull each student one at a time. So previously we had it where you had to select your student, say show the student report, and then print, and then repeat the same process for all of the students in that class. Now you just have to select show all students and the reports are printed all at once. So that is a nice feature for teachers. I'm going to go ahead and log into our administrator account. Does anyone have any questions? I see we have a couple on our questions box. One is, have any of the strands that the students use changed? Are they still the same topic? Yes and no. We are always updating our state standard tests to what the states are requiring. So we're going to change according to what the states are changing. Other than that, the system won't change from what it's been previously. So if the state testing hasn't changed, then our system should be the same. We're always adding new questions and updating the materials for the students, but the standards will not change unless the state's made a change to the testing. Okay, so I have logged into my administrator screen. You can see on the right there's a gray box that gives you your information, school administrator, your state, district, and school. At any time you can select my password to change your password, and you can see that we have the reports all listed in the top section and the management at the bottom section. The administrator of the school has the ability to enroll all of the teachers. So the teachers of the school can enroll students. The administrators can enroll teachers and students. So it's up to you whether you want to have your teachers enroll, or if you have one appointed person at the school do the enrollment. We always recommend having one person do that. That way you will not have duplicate students enrolled. If your math teacher enrolled their students and your language arts teacher enrolled their students, oftentimes you get duplicate students in the system. So we do have it where the administrator has the ability to enroll all of the teachers and the students. They can create classes and math students, and they can also create assignments and print tests as the teachers can if need be. So the administrator does have all the same features the teacher does with some extra additional reporting. One of the things to show is that we do have the print tests as we've had in the previous system. The nice thing with the print test in this new system is that you have the ability to view all of the questions in the full section. Previously it was in a small box and it made it hard to read. This new system, we've made it easier for you to read in order to create your print test. So you can see on my print test all of the questions that are listed. Like I mentioned, you can view the full question, unlike you could in the previous system. You had to scroll the bar through to view the whole question. If you wanted to make your test, you just have to click on the question, moves it to your right side of the screen, making it available for your print test. Okay, you just name your test, and then you can print it. Your test would come out like this. So very easy for teachers or administrators to make print tests. At any given time, to get back to your main screen, you just hit the home button. And if you would like to create assignments, you click on Create Assignments, select a teacher, a class, and all of the standards will be listed and all of the available students will appear on the right side of the screen. Select the standards you would like, the students you would like to give the assignment to, give the assignment a due date, and select Save. So very simple to create assignments. That hasn't really changed at all, so you should be familiar with doing that if you've made assignments before. We have the group instruction area, and this is the student view mode. If you're familiar with student view, you just select the grade you would like to view, and this will bring up the language arts, math, and science icons for you to use, or you can plug your computer into an LCD screen or a smart board and get the entire classroom involved using group instruction. Selecting a subject and a course, this will pull up your play the lesson, your study modes, bringing you your questions, so you can get your whole classroom together using the studying and the testing by having the students raise their hands and answer the questions in a group setting. Another great thing I always recommend to use the group instruction or student view mode would be just for you as administrators and teachers to know what your students are working on. So if you want to review the questions, feel free to use this group instruction section to look at the questions that your students are working on. So another great thing when the students are answering a question, if you select an answer, the Explain button automatically pops up as the students are answering questions. Before in study mode, they had the option to hit the Explain button. So this area now pops up the Explain button before they move on to the next question. They then can continue to answer, and it will continue to do a pop-up for each incorrect answer. And then they can hit next to work on the next question. So it's very simple for everyone to use the program, both students and administrators. If you select the usage report for the school, this is going to show you all of the courses and grades that have been purchased, the number of students that are enrolled, their activities, the time they've spent on it, and the expiration. Previously, we didn't have the expiration listed on your accounts, so this is easily accessible at any time for the administrator under the usage report icon. You can see when your account is going to expire. And you can see what grades and courses are being used. So if you look at this area and see third grade's not really using it very much, but fourth grade is using it quite a bit, maybe you would want to offer more licenses to the fourth graders next year, whatever works best for you. So we've had this available available for you to have easy access to your information. You can do a teacher usage report, shows you what teachers are using the program and the time they've spent in it. We do have quite a bit new features on the system as far as reporting goes. And just so you know, our Achiever account now is going to be able to sync with our Kineo product. So that's a nice feature with our website. Kineo is our Android tablet that we have been launching this year. If you haven't seen it, this is what the Kineo looks like. If a school has purchased the Kineo with the global sync option, the Kineo will sync with our Achiever website. So it's a handheld tablet that the students use. They'll work on the Achiever standards from that tablet, and then all they need to do when they're working on that tablet is hit this global sync button from their tablet, and it syncs their student scores right into the administrator and teacher account on the website. So that's a great feature that we have through our website if you're interested in the Kineo. If you have not purchased that, we do have that available for purchase. But that's a great feature. Our website now syncs with our handheld tablet. So that is the basics and the overview of our new Achiever website. We will be having weekly training sessions for administrators and teachers during the month of August. We're going to have that on our Brainchild webinar tab page on our home screen. So if you go to brainchild.com, we have the webinar tab page up at the top. And you can see today's webinar was listed here. We will have our administrator and teacher webinars listed here in the next day or two. You'll be able to click and register for that webinar at that time. So make sure to follow up and add those in for your teachers and administrators using the account. Like I mentioned, we are going to have those webinars weekly through the month of August. We'll have one the first week of September after Labor Day. So feel free to join in the webinars to do full training sessions on the teacher and administrator account. Like you can see with the new system, it is very similar to the previous program, so it shouldn't be difficult to make the transition at all. We've just added some simple new features and made it easier for everyone. This concludes our new Achiever overview. Thank you for joining us today, and please have a great day, and we hope you enjoy the new program. Thank you.